Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story is titled, My 24 female boyfriend 26 male is a regular poster at a bullying subreddit. After finding out I've lost all respect for him, what do I do? I'll make this simple. I found out my boyfriend is a regular poster on a subreddit dedicated to bullying overweight people. After reading his comments on calling them names, making fun of them, etc., I can't look at him the same anymore. I used to see him as this handsome, wonderful man. I look at him now and all I see is an ugly, hateful man-child. For the record, and not that it would matter, I'm not overweight. I look at him bullying these people and cannot believe he could be so cruel to people who haven't done anything to him. To post pictures and laugh at them and call them names. I know some people might say, what does it matter if it doesn't apply to you? But a truly good person doesn't treat others in such a manner. What if we were to have a child who became overweight? What if I was to become overweight? Does he look down at my mother, a mere 10 pounds overweight? How do I know he's not harboring hatred for other groups of people? I love him, or at least I did, until I saw this side of him. But I don't know what to do. Leave him? Talk to him? Let him know what I found? And like OP, I wouldn't be able to look at someone the same again after you discover this about that person. Because let's face it, there's a huge difference between making a dumb comment and actively participating in a community built around bullying strangers just for simply existing. And like we say about trust in these situations, once you lose trust or respect for someone, it's very difficult to get that back. If you're now looking at someone and thinking, you're actually kind of a nasty person, it's going to be very hard to change your mind about that again. The commenter says to OP, you're right. Good people don't insult strangers as a hobby. You get to decide what you want to do. You want to continue your relationship. Do you think that talking to him about your concerns will change his behavior or how you feel about him? Opie says, I don't know if talking about my concerns will change anything. I'll be honest, I really wish that wasn't the case, but I look at him now the way I saw the bullies and mean girls back in grade school. Just awful people inside and out. I'm shocked to see this from him. Quite honestly, shocked. A downvoted commenter said maybe the boyfriend is just venting, and Opie says, I don't honestly believe that there would be any excuse or reason to justify bullying people. I don't think it's ever okay to make fun of people, pick on them, post pictures of them to mock them. I don't care what the reason is. Honestly, it's extremely childish. Someone suggested maybe the boyfriend was bullied as a child. Opie says, I don't believe he was bullied, but after this, I don't think it surprised me to find out he would have been a childhood bully, honestly. 4 days later, Opie updates the post. And says the original post is here, shares the link, but for some reason it says it was removed. I don't think I broke any rules. Then says I took the advice to talk to him, even though I had a hard time working up the nerve to do so. He told me initially that he felt cornered and that he never meant for me to find out about it. He asked me what specifically I had a problem with, and I explained to him that bullying people online is not a respectable activity for someone to partake in. I let him know that it wasn't the kind of thing I would accept in our relationship, and that if he wanted to keep me, he would have to stop. He tried to say, oh, everyone does it, and anonymity means you can do anything, and these people don't even know it's happening, and a bunch of other sorry excuses. I left for the night and let him know that I'd be waiting for his response, but I knew based on his reaction and his justifications that our relationship was over. I went back in the morning and sat down with him and explained to him exactly why I was leaving. He tried to stop me and told me that he would stop doing it. But when I said, how can I trust you when I know you can just hide the behavior from incognito mode and do it where I won't see? And he started to blush. I knew this meant he was never intending on stopping. So, as of Sunday morning, I'm officially single. I'm moving out of the place we share and into my own place today. There were surprisingly a lot of places open. We've agreed to cut off contact and move on with our lives. But before I removed him from Facebook, I saw his Facebook status. It said, you never know when someone in your life will have expectations too high for you to meet. I guess I wasted 2 years of my life on a girl who couldn't deal with me being a normal guy and only wanted Prince Charming. And then says, I think I made the right choice. TLDR, boyfriend was unapologetic about what he was doing and had no true intention to stop. So I stopped our relationship. Commenter says to OP, he picked trolling over you. Good riddance. Sleepy House says, may he and his fedora live happily ever after. And the ending kind of says it all with his status on Facebook that he doesn't see a problem with what he's doing still, which is absolutely wild. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Questionmark from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and says, would I be the arsehole here if I do nothing for my husband on Father's Day? My husband, 28 male, and I, 23 female, have been married for 4 years and we have 2 children, a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. We've had many discussions over the years about how I'd like him to do more on holidays, specifically my birthday and Mother's Day, as I feel he has lacked effort when it comes to them. This year on my birthday was the first time I'd seen him show any real effort. He bought flowers, surprised me with cheesecake and mini golf, and even wrote a lovely card. I was ecstatic, but Mother's Day rolled around, which I reminded him of several times, and I was expecting something, anything, but nothing came. I had booked a hair appointment myself, which got cancelled. I wanted to sleep in but couldn't because the baby woke up early. There was no card, no flowers, nothing. We did get coffee that I was grateful for, but we do that every Sunday. So I asked if he could at least clean the house and give me a massage. He agreed, but it never happened. The worst part of all, though I reminded him to, he didn't even do anything for his own mother. Even my 3-year-old picked me flowers from the yard. Anyway, Father's Day is coming up and I'm thinking about doing nothing for him in return. Important information. His excuse for not doing things has always been that his love language is not gift-giving or nor acts of service. So it's just not something he thinks about. So maybe it's not something he cares about. He won't mind if I do nothing. And edits, of course, I will still have the kids do something for him. He is their father after all. However, I myself would not be partaking. And edit 2, for those asking, yes, I have been doing things for him. Over the past 5 years, I've given him lots of physical touch, planned surprise parties, had taken him on vacations, bought him expensive gifts or thoughtful gifts, etc. All for his birthday, Father's Day and holidays. But I never received anything back unless I get it for myself. And he seems really grateful for everything I do, but says he doesn't care about gifts. This is not meant to be revenge or tit for tat. It's simply, if he says he does not care about the things that I do for him, why should I keep doing them? So would I be the arsehole for not doing nothing for my husband on Father's Day? The commenter says to OP, not the arsehole, that is the lamest excuse I've ever heard. But yes, if that isn't his love language, he won't miss it, right? Princess says, it's also wrong. The book is BS, but the basic premise makes sense. People have different ways of feeling and expressing love, and being a good partner is communicating and meeting them where they're at. If he actually read the book, he would know that for Mother's Day, it doesn't matter what his love languages are or aren't, it's about hers. If she wants gifts and acts of services, if he loves her, he would do it for her. But not doing any gifts or acts of services for him because those aren't his love language would actually be in keeping with the book. But let's be honest, he doesn't care about love languages or the book, he's just lazy and unappreciative. I doubt he spent quality time with her or gave her words of affirmation either. Probably physical touch. Another commenter says, if his language is not gift giving, it sure as hell shouldn't be gift receiving. Just do what he did for you and wait for his reaction. Commenter says, 90% chance it's touch, aka sex. Tell him that sex isn't your love language, so you don't need to have any. Yeah, I didn't get where he was coming from with the whole love language thing because, mate, Mother's Day isn't about your love language, it's about hers, surely. And if your wife has to repeatedly remind you Mother's Day is coming, tell you what she'd like, and then actually lower the bar to please just clean the house and give me a massage and you still don't do it, you know, that's not a love language problem, it's just an effort problem, isn't it? I guarantee when OP doesn't do anything for him, he's going to certainly notice and throw a little wobbly about it, but what do you guys reckon? Because OP updates the post 5 days later and says, I took the advice from many and talked to my husband. To sum it up, I told him that I was hurt. I felt like he was not holding up his side of the bargain when it came to holidays. All holidays, not just Mother's Day, that I want more celebration, and have needs that are not being met. After I let all my feelings out, he apologized. He didn't get upset or gaslight me, he just said sorry that I hurt you, which I did appreciate. I could tell that he was actually sorry. He reminded me that he does love me, even though he's not always good at showing me in the way I need. We talked more about specifics. I brought up an idea that I think will make us both happy. That from here on out, with every holiday, we'll do stuff for ourselves. Basically, if he wants to do something for Father's Day, he has to make it happen, and it'll be on him if nothing happens. If I want to do something for my birthday, I will make it happen. That way we lose the guessing game and everyone gets the day they want. He said he is more than happy with his plan as long as I'm happy with it. He said, you tend to go all out with birthdays, gifts and holidays, but I'm just not really into that. And that he would rather just have a chill day to celebrate himself. Play video games or go for a hike. As for myself, I do like going all out, which is what I was expecting from him. But now I'm realizing that he could never live up to the standards that I have in my head. If I want the perfect day, perfect as in exactly how I imagined it in Fantasyland, then I will have to plan it myself. I'm 100% okay with our new arrangement. I'm happy that I will not have to put the time and effort into things that won't be appreciated. I told him that I still would like flowers spontaneously though, to which he happily agreed, but he wanted to know how often I would want them. I told him once a month I would like flowers, any day of the month, but I feel like once a month is a good amount. He agreed and picked one random day from each month to put in his calendar. Days which I will not know until they come. Edit. This does not mean that we won't be involved in celebrating each other. We have to be a part of whatever the other person asks of us. So if I wanted him to watch the kids while I get a massage, I would just ask him and his answer has to be yes. And it works both ways. Within limits, consent is obviously still a thing, and if he doesn't do anything for himself, I will not be doing anything other than getting him a gift, since it is now his responsibility. But we are both still responsible for each other's gifts. He will get gifts for me and I for him. We just have to plan our own days. And as far as our two kids go, celebrating our kids has never been an issue. We have always been able to work together well in order to make our kids feel special. The rules for the in-laws. He's responsible for his side of the family. I'm responsible for mine. Of course, we will both be involved to some degree, like signing cards, calling them, or coming to events for them. In other words, there'll be lots of rules in place to make sure we are both happy and that it is fair. And yes, we're looking into therapy. He said he will make Mother's Day up to me, and we can do something when we get paid on Thursday. He asked what I wanted to do, and I told him I wanted to go thrifting with him and get a new outfit. He said, I would never have thought of that, but of course we can do that. I'm actually really excited about it. He even brought his mum flowers and planned a dinner with her to make it up to her. Also, try to remember, this plan was my idea, not his. I hope this new plan works out, as it will be my last update. I'd like to thank you all for your advice and opinions on my life, lol. Live long and prosper. Peace. A commenter says to OP, I fear this plan is just going to lead to more resentment in the future. In your original post it sounded like you actually do want him to get you gifts and to celebrate you as a mother and a wife, and you genuinely enjoyed getting him gifts and celebrating him, but just wanted to feel a bit more appreciation. It sounds like you're giving up your needs to remove expectations and avoid disappointment. But maybe I'm reading too much into it. Queen says, I hope you'll be watching the kids and proactively doing all housework on Mother's Day, birthdays, etc. so she has the opportunity to make a perfect day for herself. Commenter says, buying your own birthday card for him to sign is insane. I'm so sorry. And one more commenter says, like buying and signing a birthday card is like bare minimum. You can find cards easily everywhere. What is he, a baby? The bar truly is in hell. Poor OP is trying to convince us and herself that she's truly okay with this. I kind of with the comments on this, the update just made me a little sad if anything, because whilst the husband did listen and kind of apologize, didn't get defensive, OP went from, I want my husband to make me feel like appreciated, and ended with, fine, I'll just do it myself. I don't think it's a bad thing to want the person that's meant to love you the most in the world to plan a day around you. It's not that difficult. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Salty Limit 411 and says, am I the arsehole here for telling my girlfriend her best friend has 2 years to find someone, or moving ahead without that condition? So me, 28 male, and my girlfriend, 28 female, have been together for 3 years now. I recently brought up the marriage and kids talk. My reason is pretty simple. I want to be fit and active while my kids are growing up. Like we have kids at 30, I'll be 48 when they turn 18, which still feels decent enough to actually be involved and active in their lives, so I wanted to start planning ahead. She said she also wants to get married and have kids, but she has one condition. She wants to get married around the same time as her best friend. Not the same event necessarily, just the same season or time frame. Honestly, I found it cute at first. Here's where it gets complicated. I actually know her best friend personally, and she is genuinely terrible at relationships. Never lasted more than 6 months with anyone and is currently single. But the bigger issue is her best friend doesn't even want to get married. So my girlfriend's whole plan is to first convince her that she wants marriage, then find her a guy, and hopes that guy proposes, then coordinate weddings. I told her I don't mind waiting, but I'm not comfortable with our future basically being in someone else's hands. She got upset saying I don't respect the friendship. So I said fine, 2 years. If things fall into place, great, but I can't wait forever with no end in sight. That got her even more riled up. Am I the arsehole for putting a time frame on this? Edit. So after reading through all the comments, I decided to reach out to her best friend and told her everything. And honestly, her friend found the whole thing just as ridiculous as you guys did and immediately went and talked to my girlfriend, trying to knock some sense into her. Now my girlfriend is mad at both of us, lol. But hey, at least her friend and I are on the same page. We'll update if anything changes. Update 2. Did not expect this to blow up like this, so here is a quick update. Girlfriend is currently giving me the silent treatment. But the wildest part? Her best friend texts me again apologizing for the collateral damage. She said she explicitly told my girlfriend to drop the ridiculous condition. Instead of listening, my girlfriend lost it on her and accused her of betraying their friendship, not supporting her dream, and choosing a guy over our friendship. So now the two of them are fighting. After reading all your comments about codependency and projecting, the red flags are glaring. I'm taking a few days of space to seriously reevaluate this relationship. I don't think this is just about a wedding anymore. We'll update if anything changes. Edit 3. It's been a few hours since the last update. I had a long talk with my girlfriend earlier. She's still very upset and keeps saying that I don't understand how important our friendship is and that I'm forcing her to choose. Her best friend also messaged me again saying she is done trying to explain, is taking a step back from girlfriend for now. Honestly, after everything that's happened in the last 2 days, I think I need more than just a few days of space. This whole situation has made me question a lot of things about our future. I will give one final update in a day or two after I clear my head. Edit 4. The situation is finally over. This post was getting way too long to keep updating with all the edits, so I posted the final conclusion in a new thread. You can read it here, and shares the link, which we'll be covering in a moment. That is absolutely wild, and what is the girlfriend doing in this? She's trying to convince a woman who doesn't even want marriage to suddenly want marriage. Find a man, date him, get engaged, and then, plan these weddings together. It sounds like an absolute crazy time. And I think the fact that the friend immediately sided with OP tells you everything. And I think the hugest red flag in this is when OP and the friend pointed out how ridiculous this was. The girlfriend didn't, take a step back and self-reflect or anything. She was getting angry at both of them and accusing the best friend of betrayal. All of this would automatically make me say nope to marriage anyway, so it's all pretty irrelevant and likely the relationship. But Plastic Cabinet says, okay, the girlfriend thing should tell you exactly where you stand in this relationship. Girlfriend comes first. Think about it. Opie says I hear you. I won't pretend that didn't cross my mind too after this whole thing. But in 3 years, she has never once made me feel like I come second. This condition genuinely came out of nowhere, which is why it hit me so hard. I think it says more about how much that friendship means to her than it does about where I stand with her. Still doesn't make it okay though. Commodore says, if she really cared for her girlfriend, she would respect her not wanting to get married or have kids. She doesn't respect her friend as a person. She just wants some Instagram girl power movie montage of them doing things together and is willing to actually plan her adult life around it. Honestly, that sounds like someone so selfish with so little empathy that would never have kids with them. How can she respect her kids' choices if she can't respect the choices of her best friend? This isn't someone mature enough to have kids. Opie says this actually hit different because you made a point I hadn't even thought about. She's basically trying to force her friend into something her friend doesn't even want, all for the sake of this picture-perfect moment she has in her head. And you're right, if she can't respect her best friend's choice of not wanting to get married, then that is a bigger issue than just the condition she put on me. I'll be honest, this comment made me think more than most of the others here. Commenter says, you're going to have to state your case and set a hard boundary, or let it go. Having a grown-ass woman plan her life around other people than herself is insane. Not the arsehole. Opie says, already did that. Gave her a 2-year window as a compromise. If she still wants to stay angry over that, then I guess that tells me everything I need to know about where this is going. So, OP did update the post and says, since the original post was getting way too long to keep updating, I'm putting the final conclusion here. First off, a massive thank you to everyone who commented. A lot of you pointed out things about codependency and enmeshment and that I was completely blind to, and honestly it gave me the clarity I needed. Before getting into the update, I just wanted to address 2 things that kept coming up in the comments. To everyone roasting me about my timeline. Yes, I know you can still be a fit and active dad well into your 30s and 40s, lol. It was just a personal goal I had in my head, but fair point taken. To everyone jokingly suggesting I should just date the best friend since she's apparently the sane one. Absolutely not, lol. We're cool, but I'm staying far away from that entire dynamic. A lot of you were also asking how much I missed such a massive red flag for 3 years. Honestly, I didn't understand it either at first. I think as a guy you are sometimes so starved for affection and care that you hold on to it tightly when you finally find it. But it wasn't just that. I genuinely felt loved and cared for. She worked from home for her dad's business, and there was no lack of emotional or physical intimacy either. And she made my life so easy, like would always make food for me, handled all the household stuff willingly without ever complaining, and even when I offered to help, she just waved me off saying she had it. This whole condition truly came out of nowhere and blindsided me completely. After the last edits, I left our apartment and spent the night away to clear my head. I made up my mind that I was going to sit her down calmly and try to make her understand how absurd this whole thing was. My plan was that if she finally understood, we could look into couples therapy together to get to the root of it. We had that final long conversation this morning. I tried to explain why having my future tied to a third party was a deal breaker for me. But instead of trying to understand my perspective or even taking the lifeline of therapy, she doubled down. She said her best friend is abandoning her and that I'm being unsupportive of her vision for her life. I even asked her directly to be honest with me if she simply wasn't ready for marriage or kids yet, because that would be a completely different and understandable situation. One I was willing to work with and make compromises for, because I genuinely didn't want to lose her over some fantasy plan. But she said no. She loves me. She does want marriage and kids. She just wouldn't drop the condition. When I brought up the fact that her best friend had literally told her she doesn't want to get married, she just waved it off saying, she'd come around, I know her better than she knows herself. That's when it became obvious that I was essentially the third wheel in my own relationship, and that no amount of reasoning was going to get through. It was a long, hard conversation. There were a lot of tears, but I made the decision to end the relationship. We want fundamentally different things, and I can't build a future with someone who prioritizes a fantasy timeline over our actual partnership. We are currently sorting out the apartment situation, and I'll be staying with family for a bit while we untangle everything. It hurts right now. Not going to pretend it doesn't. But reading through all your perspectives genuinely gave me the clarity and reality check I needed to see things for what they were. Thanks again, everyone. Won't be updating after this, just focusing on moving forward now. We are definitely already in or creeping into unhinged territory right there, because that is wild. The moment she said she had come around, I know her better than she knows herself, that relationship was absolutely cooked. How can she think that's a reasonable way to look at another adult? Even the best friend was sitting there saying, no, I don't want this, and she still couldn't accept it. Obi seemed to give her every opportunity to admit that she just wasn't ready for marriage, but instead, she doubled down on that whole fantasy. That's mad, isn't it? But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully, I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. Nah.